What's up guys, and welcome to Calisthenics. In today's video we're going to be talking about calisthenics and joint health, joint pain, which is something that I find very important if you're doing calisthenics training or any other style of training. Often we talk about how to become very good at pull-ups, push-ups, all the skills, and yeah, that's really cool, that's kind of why we're doing it, but we want to make sure that we're going to be lasting a long time with our training. So we want to make sure that for the years to come, we're going to be able to continue to train, to continue to progress without injuring ourselves. And that's why I find it really important to talk about preserving your joint health and making sure that you're not going to be damaging your joints, just doing stupid little mistakes in your exercises. So I will be showing you a few exercises. Everything will make sense as the video goes on. And it's nothing complicated, just a few things that you can avoid very easily that's going to help you keep your joints healthy and allow you to train for the years to come. So guys, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. So guys, one of the first exercises that I'm going to be talking about is going to be the dip. So I'm going to be talking about how you lock out and also your range of motion with your shoulders. Obviously those are the two main joints that we're going to be working with this exercise. Obviously you have to be careful with your wrists too. But just keep in mind that what I talk about in the dip applies to the push-up as well, as far as locking the elbows out is concerned. So when you're doing an exercise, so a dip here, often people will come down and they'll push up really hard and they'll lock out their elbows really hard like that, and that can be a problem. And over time you can really damage your joint. You're going to start getting elbow pain, and then the exercise is just going to become uncomfortable. And obviously if you keep doing this over time, doing loads of dips, then you may come to a point where you injure yourself and you can't do dips anymore, or you're put out of the gym for a long period of time. So it's definitely something you want to avoid. So I'm just going to talk about what are we trying to do with the dip. Obviously we're trying to work your triceps, we're working your chest, or front delts, and when you're doing the dip, what you're trying to focus on is coming down with control. And this is another thing I'm going to be talking about, is your depth. You're going to come up, and there's no need to lock out hard. You can push up like this, really squeeze your chest together, pulling your shoulders down, and your triceps obviously going to be contracted. You can lock out, just don't snap your elbows into place. Come down, come back up with control, and do it that way rather than snapping into place really hard. So like I said, the same thing goes for the push-up. You don't want to push up and just, snap your elbows into place, because like I said, it can cause a lot of damage over time. Now the other thing we're going to be talking about is shoulder depth, or dip depth in this case. So how far you dip down with your range of motion. So you have to consider your range of motion, and just understand that everyone is built slightly differently. It's not because you see someone dip really low and they can do it comfortably that you need to do the same thing. So sometimes you'll see people that dip down to about 90 degrees, sometimes they'll go a lot lower, and they're totally comfortable with it. When I'm doing my bodyweight dips, I can go down really low, and it's not a problem for me. It feels comfortable, I get a nice stretch, feels really good. When I'm doing really heavy dips, so weighted dips, there I don't go down as far because I want to protect my shoulders, and obviously when you're working with weight, you have to be very careful with that. So that's another thing that I am talking about, not just snapping your elbows into place, but also when you're working with weight, you need to watch your range of motion. Because let's say you're training with a really heavy weight, you stretch all the way down, you could tear something, you could just injure yourself. You might not be able to get back up, which isn't so much of a problem, just put your legs down, but you need to be careful with that when you're working with a lot of weight. You need to be more careful with your range of motion. Make sure that you do protect all your joints, in this case, your shoulders. So that's pretty much it for the dip and push-up. And most pushing exercises, you just don't want to snap your elbows into place, because then, like I said, I'm just saying it for the third time, you're going to cause damage over time. And also just be mindful of your range of motion and be aware that not everyone has the same range of motion. So now we're going to be talking about pull-ups and what you need to watch out for with those. Okay, so now we're on to pull-ups. We're going to be talking about several things, some of which are going to be similar to your push-ups and your dips in terms of locking out the elbows. But we're also going to be talking about your wrists, because obviously, depending on the position that you have your hands on the bar, your wrists can be in a vulnerable position or an uncomfortable position, And the main one for this is going to be when you have a really wide grip. So if I was to grip the bar really wide, obviously mine isn't wide enough, but imagine the bar continues over here, and I've got one hand here and one hand here, and as I pull up, my wrist is actually kind of twisted on the bar. So I'm going to come close and show you. So if you imagine my arm is the bar, I have my hand on it, and the further I go away, the more my wrist is going to be twisted like this, and that's not a good position to be in. So that's something that you want to be careful of with your pull-ups, and it goes for typewriter pull-ups because you end up having a really kind of wide grip in a sense that your arm is stretched out and your wrist can be quite twisted. So if I come up and I do one here, my wrist is really twisted, it's not comfortable, and it kind of hurts. So that's why you'll often see people doing their typewriter pull-ups or their archer pull-ups, typewriters across, same deal really. But you'll see people doing archer pull-ups, they'll come up and they'll kind of twist their arm around the bar, and I guess that avoids putting any pressure on your wrist. So you need to be careful with your wrists on this. You need to be careful with your wrists with dips and push-ups as well, especially if you're doing explosive exercises and you're landing hard on your hands. So keep that in mind too. But the main thing here is watching your wrists and making sure you're not putting them in a vulnerable position, because you're going to need your hands, you're going to need your wrists for any pushing, any pulling, anything that involves your hands taking on load and your wrists having to support that. It's going to be influenced by what you do with your pull-ups and your push-ups. So be careful of that. And like I said, similar to your push-up and your dips, you're going to have to watch what you do with your elbows. So when you pull up, you can go fast. When you come down, yeah, you can go down fast. Just don't lock out your elbows like this. Don't go and drop, because a lot of people do that, especially when they're trying to do fast reps, doing a lot of reps. And I myself have done this in the past, and I felt pain, which is kind of part of the reason why I'm making this video. It was a long time ago and I have corrected it since, but it is something that I kind of learned, is that you need to be careful with all of your movements and being in control and not snapping or locking out your joints too hard, because this is similar, like I said, to your dip and your push-up, where you can't just lock out because you're going to damage your joints at the shoulder, at your elbow. You can't tug your arm repetitively, or it can cause some damage. So when you're doing it, come up with control, come back down. You can go fast, just slow it down a little bit at the bottom and just lock out gently. There's no problem with locking out, just be gentle with it and don't tug or anything like that. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, you just want to watch out for your pull-ups, your push-ups, not snapping your elbows into place, being careful of your wrists. If you do explosive push-ups, which I didn't really mention previously, but it is very important if you're doing like flat push-ups and your hands are hitting off the ground, not to do it too hard. Maybe try to find a padded surface to kind of soak up a little bit of that, the impact. And yeah, just be careful of your wrists on the pull-up bar, not to twist them because you can cause problems. So that's it, guys, for the pull-up, and that's pretty much it for the video. So guys, I hope everything made sense. I hope that this will help you with your training if you already do feel joint pain or you feel like you're maybe locking out a little bit too hard on certain exercises. So just keep these things in mind. So I'm going to repeat it once again and for the last time in the video. Just on your push-ups and your pull-ups or your dips, any pushing or pulling motion, make sure that you don't lock out too hard, don't damage your elbows, don't snap them into place, just control the negative portion of the exercise, so the portion where you're coming down or lowering yourself. And yeah, just make sure that you avoid any damage so that you can last for years and years and years and years with your training, which is what I hope we're all kind of going for here. So be careful of that with your pull-ups, push-ups, dips, any pushing, pulling. And also be careful of your wrists when you're on a pull-up bar, not to have them twisted. If you're doing a chin-up, don't have them like really wide out and twisted this way or this way. Just try avoid having too much, you know, side-to-side motion under pressure, especially with load, because that can cause damage too. So be careful of these things, be careful of your shoulders, be careful of your elbows, be careful of your hands, your wrists, because these are going to be the most precious things to you with your calisthenics training. Obviously your legs are too, but I'll address that in a separate video, probably more focused around your legs and how that all works. But for your upper body and for the sake of your training and wanting to last long with your training, just really protect your upper body, all the joints, as much as you possibly can, And don't take it for granted that they're working fine now, because you never know. If you keep doing repetitive damage, small damage that you may not even feel in the moment, it can cause bigger problems down the line. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that this helped. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And until next time, guys, stay strong. Peace out.